whoever. Okay, so we are doing this. Eh?
เดี๋ยวเดี๋ยวสิก่อนเนี่ย
So,
Recording? Or
whoever,
Like we were going
Time.
to do this.
whoever's
It'll be
gonna
another-
be the next
another
one,
day,
I think
right?
he was saying he reckons it should be a lighter, more humorous take on Bond because Daniel
Okay.
Craig's
Yeah,
version
that'd
has
be
been
good.
more hard,
More serious.
serious, darker.
Yeah.
And
Be
so
good to
you know,
see
it's a
more,
bit,
yeah,
it's
a
a hard
lighter
act to
comic
follow.
one.
So
Yeah,
he
because
reckons-
Daniel is more of a dramatic actor, you know. So
It does,
I
it does,
think
it does it so
It,
well.
it doesn't
That
have to be
style fits in.
comedic though. Like if
There
you
are
think
times,
comedic, Ryan Reynolds.
yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
You
That's
can't be
James
James
Bond.
Bond.
No.
I think
It'd be good to
just
see
way
a-
too-
James Bond's
Yeah.
humor is more like a dry wit sort of
Dry,
humor
yeah.
Dry
type.
wit, that's it. That's it.
Not really
Dry
like
humor.
slapstick, you know. I don't
Yeah.
think slapstick would work
Oh.
for
Good point.
Bond.
But 2 will be the next
Oh.
one though. That's the
Suave
question.
humor. Yeah.
Well, they're
Yeah.
saying that they won't actually begin to look until early next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah.
Or
Yes,
I
this
mean,
one-
they
this
need
one
time
just
to
finished.
write the script and all that.
Or
so.
do they already have a 007 because Nomi was the 007?
Yeah.
Well, you do
Yeah.
recall in the movie Ana de Armas character, she appeared for only a little bit.
Yeah,
But
only
she
at the
did-
start.
yeah.
She did kick ass. So
Yeah, Palmer. Yeah.
she,
But
could-
she's also very new.
Yeah, she was good. Mm.
she was good, yeah.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
meant to be like a new agent, I guess.
You mean Paloma, the
Yeah,
the
Paloma.
Paloma,
CIA?
yeah.
Low.
Yeah,
The
Ana de
Cuban
Armas,
Yeah,
agent,
she was.
yeah.
She was good. She was a kick-ass chick. Like
Yep. And a
We'll
big
train
name
in
as
3
well,
weeks,
just
yeah.
for like a really short part of the movie. Big name for a
Yeah.
short part.
anyway part. Yeah.
I was surprised.
Only
that-
with 3 weeks
yeah,
training too.
I was surprised that she only
She was good.
she was only there for like bit,
10
yeah.
minutes. Or,
But she didn't
Yeah.
make an impact, so it's a shame. Well, I mean, maybe that's why they're probably setting her up for. I don't
think
know,
it-
a return
I
appearance.
think she's almost being set up as like his contact in that area.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like because Felix died, so
Mm.
you know we sort of
So it does actually seem like they kind of killed off Daniel Craig's arc in some way.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they were saying how it's appropriate because this is the very first time that Bond has died in 59
Yeah,
years.
I was about to
history.
say,
Yeah.
first time ever in
Hmm.
any James Bond movie
He's died.
that he actually dies. Yeah.
And they reckon
So it's a
that
big-
it's
it's a big
probably
shock, yeah.
an appropriate one. I mean, because of the fact that Daniel Craig's sort of version is a more realistic take, and so they reckon yes, to die is probably appropriate.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
Gives
interesting.
gives it more of an
He-
emotional impact to it. when he
In,
actually dies.
in You Only Live Twice, the film actually opens with the
Oh.
funeral for James Bond.
Mm.
Yeah. You mean the
The Sean Connery one,
Sean
where
Connery
it's
one.
based
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Japan and Hong Kong.
Hmm.
Oh.
Mm.
But-
Yeah.
So so they had to fake his death, but officially he's dead for that particular mission.
But this one, he's definitely dead.
yeah,
a fit-
it's
yeah.
definitely that.
Yeah.
First
In the
time
back
they
of my
actually
mind,
did
like,
that.
I wonder if there's
Voice.
any glimmer of hope, but I doubt it.
No, but it's a good ending though.
Mm. Very quite emotional. Yeah.
It's emotional, yeah. It's
Yeah,
done well.
because he has a family.
Exactly. That's what makes it even more tragic.
Mm.
Because he's finally at the
Got a
point
daughter
where
now.
exactly. He's at the point where he's ready to give up his,
Yeah, that
spy
lifestyle.
days and settle down.
Hey,
He was supposed to retire.
well, effectively, he
And then-
did. He did retire.
came-
When he worked with the
And then he came
CIA.
back.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did retire, then came
Are we
back
talking
out.
about Bond or are we
to
talking
go on
about
this.
Daniel Craig?
No,
Bond-
Bond in-
No, Bond.
retired.
Bond was supposedly retired after they captured Blofeld, right? That was meant to be.
Yeah, that's why the film started out with him saying, I'm retired.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Then
he's
apparently
off
he
the-
joined the CIA within
But
that
then-
5-year period.
Yeah. But then Felix drew him back in.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he became a 00 again.
Yeah.
And apparently 007
Yep.
was no longer him, but Nui.
I like his death and also the fact that
Jeff.
he he's he didn't quite get married, but he fathered offspring. So there's sort of two minor similarities because in You Only Live Twice as well, he actually got married to a Japanese wife, got married in real life. I think it was a legal marriage actually, even though it was part of the mission.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that same film starts off with his death as well. So yeah.
Oh.
In this one though,
This was
so apparently they never
at the end.
they never considered any alternate endings. So
Mm.
they definitely
okay.
wanted him to die.
When to die.
This
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah, and plus it was his exit
Yeah, it was his last outing as
Yeah.
as James
It's
Bond.
fun.
because it was
thought
confirmed
it-
that this would be the last for quite a while.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Daniel Craig. I thought it was quite a perfect exit for this James Bond. Way
Yeah.
exited. It was in great fashion.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of interesting as well because they continued on with the Spectre story arc
Yeah, it's a
Mm,
continuation.
yeah.
It's like a connectivity.
because Madeline is the same girl.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. There's a continuity there. Like
Yeah.
so the one that started with is it Skyfall? Well, Skyfall as well, isn't it?
Skyfall.
Skyfall,
I think
yeah.
so,
I
yeah.
would say it almost really started with Casino Royale because of the
Skyfall.
Yeah, Casino
Vesper
Royale.
link, right? So they
Mm.
brought
Yeah.
Vesper back in to
So
tie it in with
effectively,
the very
the
first
entire arc
Yeah.
of Daniel Craig.
Because Casino Royale was the first Daniel
one
Craig
big story.
round
arc,
it off.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
run off the trilogy or whatever it is.
Yeah, because he goes and visits her grave
Mm.
to mausoleum, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's good to see that continuity.
Mm.
So in a way, the title of the movie is actually wrong.
Is it? Oh.
No Time to Die title is wrong because he died.
And ironically, Nomi says that to
Yeah.
Dr. Obuchev
The Russian doctor.
when
yeah,
she
the
goes,
scientist.
It's time to
What
die.
time? What time is it? Because it's time to
is it?
die.
It's time to
It's a
die.
great
is
line.
what she's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Great punchline.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kind of agree that might not be the right title then if it's what it does.
No, it's a
Okay.
shit title. Yeah.
Maybe it's to keep the audience guess, like keep them surprised until the end. Yeah,
Mm.
that's what I think.
Yep.
All right.
So unlike other movies like Marvel, this doesn't have secret endings, but we did actually
No.
did get
No.
the James Bond will return.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a surprise ending too. Yeah.
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 Price
right.
ending, yeah. I mean, there's a
Mm.
few unanswered questions. So one of those, why did Safina diabolical plans out of killing Blofeld? Like, why did he suddenly want to kill everybody?
Mm. Yeah, because we
I
don't
think-
see him for a long time in the movie
Mm.
either.
Yeah, I mean, ever
I mean,
since
we see him at the start,
at the start,
when
yeah.
The
he was
Safin,
younger,
the mask.
Yeah.
and then at the end, but he didn't really play too much of a big role.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's become this villain about world domination, like,
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Safin. Yeah.
And then what happened to his injuries, right? And how did they get fixed? And we don't know that either.
Hmm.
Because the
They
opening
mentioned
was something-
dioxin.
What?
I think
Dioxin?
it was the poison.
Poison.
from
They
one-
mentioned dioxin because of the fact that the file that Dr. Swan had and tried to
Yeah.
explain the backstory of
Mm.
how her father killed his family and it was all part of the same. He used this. Trying to remember it ad verbatim, so forgive me if it's not. He used the same recipe on his killers. So and she
Mm.
said dioxin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
and I think it was her that mentioned that's why he's got extensive scarring or something like that.
Yeah, but I guess the
Yeah.
question is how did he overcome all those injuries, right?
Mm. Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he
yeah.
had a lot of surgery.
maybe
Oh, hang on.
Maybe.
They're talking about
the
in this
overcoming of it.
article. They're
Yeah.
not talking about the scarring injury. They're talking about the one when he was attacking.
Oh yeah,
Madeline and her family.
the injury at the beginning, the limping,
Yeah.
limping.
He
Yeah.
had a limp, but that
Limping.
could just be like a normal injury from, like attacking other people first, before he got
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Before
So
he
he
got
could
to
have
their
recovered
house.
from that.
Unless
Yeah.
it wasn't too serious injury, because some
Yeah,
can recover if it's not too serious with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
limping.
yeah. It
I
was a
mean-
limp. It wasn't like some
He
kind
was
of
a
permanent
limb, yeah. He was
disablement,
a limb, yeah.
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 But he didn't have a limb anymore, so maybe it wasn't
Then he
too
probably
serious.
did recover, so it's probably not as a serious.
So it wasn't a serious
concussion as it
injury.
Might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As most people can recover from not too serious injury. Yeah.
And this one, how was Blofeld controlling Spectre through the eye? The
With
eye.
the bionic eye.
So Blofeld was from the previous. He was from the previous.
From
one,
the Spectre.
Spectre, right?
Spectre.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's in prison and he's still able to control.
I was wondering
Spectre.
if it was
He,
linked to,
he
you know how
didn't
his
really
hen-
control it. They took out the eye to study it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, he was tracking them, right?
Yeah, the whole time he had the eye
Hmm.
in there, and it was linked to one of the guys.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
his henchman. Remember
His
how
henchman,
his
yeah.
henchman
One of his
had a
henchmen.
fake eye? That's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
The henchman had a fake eye. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Mm.
how his henchman managed to die because remember when it rolled out in the initial chase scene from Vesper Lynn's grave to mausoleum, whatever it is, and he was
Mm.
chasing him and his eye popped out and you could
Popped
see
out.
that it was metal backed,
Mm.
like there was a spring and it was metal backed. And he
Mm.
used and he sort of went, oh, it's got metal. So he used that electromagnetic function on his watch towards the end of the movie.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I love that line.
blew his mind or
Yeah.
something.
I
I love
showed you
His
my
mind.
watch.
Great
and
punchline.
it really
I
blew
showed
his
him my
mind.
watch.
Yeah, blew his mind.
mind.
Yeah, Blue's my great line.
Mhm.
Great pun.
Oh yeah, and also because this poison thing, right? That's originally
Heracles.
M's had a hand in it, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's right.
He created it from the beginning. And
but yeah. Well, he claims that
Bad
the
guys took
nanobots were never meant to be used as a bioweapon,
Mm.
but then
Well, considering
To-
they killed off all the Spectre agents,
yeah,
I suspect that would have been an indication
Or a subset or the actual aim of Project Heracles, because clearly they've locked up Blofeld, but all of the whole Spectre organization, apart from the head honcho, still out there. So this would have been a good way of
to
eliminating
kill them all.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And especially
and
since they
then
go,
the-
oh, I thought he was working for us, but I guess Safin has the same aim and goal as M as part of Project Heracles.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they both had an interest in eliminating those people.
Mm.
How is that
And
James Bond's
Yeah.
wife working for Sefton?
oh, was
She
she
wasn't
working?
working
She
for Safin.
unintentionally,
Really?
She
she
wasn't.
unintentionally killed.
She was coerced. You know, when
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
had a new patient and she wasn't expecting a new patient,
Yeah,
and he sort of held her ransom there, which is why
Yeah.
before they went to talk to Blofeld, because she was before Bond was the only
Mm.
one that he would talk to, she sprayed herself with some stuff, which
Mm.
later we knew was that nanobots.
Mm.
And that's why when James Bond grabbed her wrist, she went, no, you know, she didn't want Bond to have touched her.
Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
those nanobots were targeted to specific people, isn't it?
DNA.
DNA.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So they're
mean,
targeted to Blofeld.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when they were away, they somehow
Yes, it's
the enemy could track Bond, so it's through his wife, right? Somehow.
Oh, you mean
At the beginning. Yeah, James Bond asked his wife, "How come
Oh,
people can
at
track
the
them?"
beginning. But I don't think she was
No, she
Working
wasn't
with
his
the
wife.
enemy.
She wasn't working.
no.
maybe maybe she didn't know. Maybe they did use her, but she had no idea that they were using her. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
they
she
didn't
was
really
still-
exactly explain it because they were being chased
Yeah.
and she had no idea.
Yeah,
He
she had no idea
suspect-
at the time.
he when he got ambushed at Vesperlin's tomb, when
Mm.
he got back, because he went off grid, that's why even all of MI6 thought he was dead.
Mm.
He sort of went, right, who did you tell? Because the only person who knew of his whereabouts was the girl he's been with all
Wife.
this time.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
therefore,
that's
he's
right,
girlfriend.
Madeline.
and the fact that he went to visit Vesperlin's grave, and it was all part of Spectre, he thought that she was working for Spectre initially.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
it-
I
in
mean,
his
they-
mind,
Blofeld
she was
called
the
her.
only one who would have let out the intel of his location.
But then Blofeld knew that he would come or waited for a long time for him to go
Yeah.
to the grave.
He just played the patience game.
Yeah, he played the patience game. So that's probably how
Mm-hmm.
they found it. It probably wasn't the wife at all.
No,
Maybe,
yeah.
that's why when she said, I don't know what you're talking about, she really
Yeah.
didn't know what.
She really
Yeah.
was honest about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
So
thought,
Yeah.
going to
so
the
maybe he thought it
grave-
could have been her, but it
it-
wasn't
going
her
to
at
the
all,
grave
so-
was
Yeah,
probably
but
the
Blofeld
hit that Blofeld needed.
confessed that it wasn't her. He did. he
Yeah,
did tell
Blofeld
James
said
to
that it
do-
was all him,
Yeah, because
Yeah, it was
he
all
wait-
him.
and that
He
she
waited
had
for
nothing
him,
to
yeah,
do with
like-
it. And
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
Blofeld relished the fact that he destroyed his own happiness because he broke it off with her
Yeah, exactly.
with no reason to, because it was just a suspicion that was wrong.
Yep. And
Yeah.
technically,
That was
if
his
James
intention.
Bond didn't go to that tomb, none of this would have happened.
it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But he did marry Vesperlind. He was his, well, actually, it depends how far in the James Bond folklore. If you're only looking at Daniel Craig, then Vesperlind was, in my mind, Vesperlind was the equivalent of the Countess on Her Majesty's Secret Service, because he actually marries her. And
Mm.
when Casino Royale came about and there was this woman he was fixated to and I guess faithful to,
Mm.
it sort of set off the same chain of events in all the
Mm.
previous James Bond folklore. Because he
Yeah.
lost his one true love, relationships didn't mean a thing to him because they no longer existed for him, and women weren't seen as a means to a relationship if it caused heartache like it did in the first case. And it sort of
Mm.
repeated itself here with Vesperlind.
Mm.
Yeah, but in this one,
Actually-
he was able to let her go, right? And
Yeah,
and
he was willing to
finally
open up
let
again
go.
with
Open up, yeah.
Madeline. Yeah.
Actually,
sort
I'd like to know, the holiday at the beginning, they went to the holiday destination, that town is, I thought it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
originally-
that looks
Wonder
familiar.
what town it was.
It looks
Is
familiar.
It must be somewhere in Europe, right? I think.
Mm,
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, look
I wonder
like it.
which town, wonder
yeah,
what
I wanna know
town or
too.
city it was in.
I think there's an
like to
article
find out.
about
It-
the location. Let me find that.
Italy,
Were they
Greece,
were they
Looks like Italy.
speaking
It's in
French there? I think it
or
was.
French maybe. Mm.
Oh yeah.
That's why
Could be
that's
France.
why it's
Well,
good.
she's French.
I like watching the credits because you can see the
the locations
locations
where
and the
it's shot,
different
yeah.
crew at the different locations.
So the first one was Norway,
Oh,
which
Norway,
was
okay.
the
Frozen
opening,
Norway.
Frozen Norway.
I
opening
knew it
scene.
was somewhere in Europe. Yeah.
And
very
then-
European.
Yep, it was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Italy. though.
Amari Coast.
Viagia Senza
Oh
Mare.
yeah, because they were
Oh.
speaking in Italian. They go, "Oh, signor," and then
Yeah.
and then all the
Yeah, it was
baddies were speaking
Italian.
in Italian as well.
Yeah, I mean, even the villains were
I
Italian.
can't tell.
The guy with the
And
eye
from
was
the-
Italian.
Yeah.
Other guys.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
And from
good?
the design of the buildings, they look Italian kind of build.
Other
Well, that's
bridge, yeah.
definitely Italian.
And then they
That
drive
bridge.
to
I
Matera.
do recognize that bridge.
And then Gravina, Italy.
Cool.
Oh,
Italy again, yeah.
And then Matera,
Matera, yeah, this
oh.
town here. It's
this town
very
here. Yeah.
interesting.
So a
Yeah.
bunch in Italy then.
And then
Wow.
Sapri,
Yeah, a lot of
Italy.
Italian.
Sapri.
A lot of Italy.
And then they
Well,
jump to Jamaica.
Then they jump to
Jamaica.
the other side of the world,
And
Uh,
then
Jamaica,
That's when he
but-
ran off. Yeah.
back to England.
So that's why Newbie did that Jamaican accent for a little while.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
and then off to Norway again, Atlantic
Yeah.
Road.
and then Scotland.
Scotland, where they had the car chase thing,
Mm.
chase scene. And then at the ending,
Faroe Islands.
that place is an island, Faroe Island,
Wonder what that is.
a North
Faroe
Atlantic
Islands.
archipelago located about halfway
okay.
between Norway and Iceland.
The Scandinavian region.
And the last one is,
It back to Italy.
Where they were driving.
Italy.
which is kind of
Italia.
like a bookend, because it started like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But interesting how it ends as well. It ends in that like circular,
Yeah.
like
'cause the
tunnel.
It's like
car-
from the start.
I was wondering if the car was the same one and if the road was the same one
Yeah,
at the end as and at the beginning.
Yeah, good point.
circular. Yeah.
Can't remember.
But going into that circular tunnel is also like an end point,
Oh yes.
It's like
especially for Bond.
it ends where it
it's
started.
yeah.
it's like that's what it's
Yeah.
saying.
And the car was bulletproof too, right? That's quite
Yeah, and it had some
The
its own
first car,
weapons,
yeah.
its own machine
cool.
gun.
Yeah,
Actually, Jeffrey Wright was
That's
in
pretty
the
good.
movie again.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
died. He
I
died.
really liked him.
Yeah.
I really liked him as Felix
Yeah.
though. I wish he could
His
have
character
been in
was
more than
very
one
good.
movie.
The Watcher
you know?
died in.
I think he died too soon.
Bond.
Watcher.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like
he's
Yeah,
the
they
Watcher.
could have
Jeffrey Wright is the
kept him on
Watcher.
for the next Bond movies, you know?
Yeah, it'll be good to see him the next. Fortunately, he died too soon.
Right,
Yeah. Felix
well,
is
at
one
least
of
it
my
was-
favorite Bond characters, the CIA
Bond
agent that
character,
he's
yeah.
really good friends with. Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright, okay.
Well, at least you see him in the Batman.
So I
you'll see
think
him in
that's
that one.
I think that's why they said that James Bond worked for the CIA. Well,
Mm.
when not
Mm.
in that 5-year period.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Or at least he's
That was his-
good friends with a CIA
Yeah.
agent. Yeah. Felix, yeah.
He always has been.
Mm.
Yeah.
Felix is like a long-standing friend.
long
and-
standing,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he called
Yeah.
Felix his brother. So,
That's
Yeah.
right.
so you can tell he's very hurt after he died.
Some 10 best quotes from the movie.
Oh yes,
I
the
miss you.
watch one. Really? Okay.
I miss you. Which one is that?
A very common line.
Oh yeah, and Felix Leiter and him are such good friends that in Timothy Dalton's last and second film, I'm trying to remember the film title.
Which
was-
one?
Oh,
The Living
License to
Daylights?
Kill. No,
License
Living
to-
Daylights is the first one. License to Kill. He
Okay.
was at the beginning of the film. Bond was Felix Leiter's best man.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Oh yeah. So this is what Shami was saying, right? The Vesper's memory,
Yeah.
the closure that fans needed. Because here he
it's
talks
such-
about I miss you.
Mm.
And it was really hard because
So they're like closing off all of like the
Yeah. It's up.
stuff of his arc.
Mm.
And then
I
there's-
think his relationship with Vesper Lind was one of suspicion as well, because she was sort of helping them, but I can't remember exactly what happened. But
She was secretly
Maybe.
also working for Spectre because
yeah, I think it
because
was
they
actually.
held her boyfriend hostage.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she was actually with another guy, and
That's
they
right.
blackmailed her into.
Oh,
And that's why she sacrificed herself, because there was no other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the other guy, the
Actually-
brother, Lester, of James
Oh,
Bond?
Felix Leiter.
But,
Oh,
yeah.
he
Felix Leiter.
died in that ship.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
what was his relationship with James Bond?
Oh, a good mate.
Good mate. Yeah.
He's a
Mate.
friend.
Good colleague.
Yeah, that's why we were talking.
They could
about.
work.
They were
Good
practically
colleagues and
brothers.
best mates.
Yeah.
That's why he told him
yes.
brother. Because when the villain said, "Oh, something about brother," he said, "Oh, I
I
have
used
a
to have a
brother."
He's
Yeah,
like the
they-
equivalent of Bond, but working for the CIA, and in lots of
Yeah.
old missions they work together.
So this is the other line, right? You know what
Yeah.
time it is.
It's the line that
Time to
Shaman
die.
said. Yeah. Time to die.
Actually,
To die.
It's a good twist to the
Expanding
title.
on James's question, I missed how Bond got out of the
submarine.
sinking ship.
Oh,
Oh, the ship's right. Yeah, sinking ship.
Yeah, how did he do that?
Good point.
Did he-
I thought that was an oil rig,
He-
not a singing
He
ship.
managed to open the
hatch.
locked door.
Oh, did
the
he
locked
manage
hatch.
to open that lock? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he
Yep.
swam out, and then
Yeah,
there was like
A
a
ship
lifeboat.
found him. Yeah,
That's right. The lifeboat. Yeah.
a lifeboat, and then a big ship found him later.
And then
Ah,
yeah, a
okay.
ship came by to pick him up. So
That's right. Yeah. Shipping
Lucky
business
for
was
him.
honking.
he
Good
was
time.
pretty lucky, actually. Yeah.
We all have our
In the middle of the
secrets.
deep ocean as well.
We just
Yeah.
didn't get to yours yet.
How-
Mm.
Oh yeah, the secrets thing. I like that. It's like it kept it really intriguing. What's the secret?
What's the secret?
Yeah, but she wanted to tell him.
She wanted to tell
Mm.
him.
The child.
Was it the child, you think? Oh,
No, it was
Yeah,
the
'cause
secrets
initially
in that
she's-
room. In that room.
oh,
It was her past.
past,
was
yeah,
her
the past
past.
And
of
she
She
didn't
memory.
wanna
wanted to
say-
tell him.
She didn't
Ah.
say anything. Remember there was that bit where she was swimming, how it
Yeah.
cuts from that opening scene in Norway where
Yeah.
she was a kid and it goes straight to her as an
As if they're
adult.
swimming.
And she
Yeah.
comes up from the water and she's a
Yeah.
bit shaken and Bond asks her what's wrong. But
Mm.
we as the audience sort of go, this must be
Yeah.
the adult of that little girl. And
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
still a little, I guess memories of being trapped underwater still get at her, which is probably why she's still a
Mm.
bit shaken.
Mm.
Speaking of
Traumatic
shaken,
past.
She,
shaken.
yeah. She,
Come on, that's the
I
point
never-
every time.
I never get
They always
that
have
phrase. Like they always say shaken not stirred. Like what's the difference? Is there a difference
Yes,
in taste?
there is
when
a
it's shaken not stirred?
difference.
Oh,
It even looks different.
Okay.
And every time the film
Shaken.
portrays a shaken martini, which one never
Instead of
does,
stirred.
by the way, when you shake a vodka martini, it goes
It's more
cloudy.
mixed up.
And every
Okay.
time they serve it, it's clear as if it was stirred. So every
Okay.
time they show it in film, it's wrong. And if he knows anything about good drink, which you think he does, why the hell are you drinking it shaken? Don't even get
Yeah.
me started on this rant.
But the thing is, he always says it anyway. So
I know.
Oh, he said
This
in
is
Casino
signature line.
Royale, he didn't care if it had shaken or stirred. Made no big deal out of it.
Mm.
but
Wow.
still, since it's the end of his arc, why not say it one more time?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And this 3 weeks training,
Yeah.
really?
More or
That's-
less. You
She
said.
looked like she knew what she was doing, right?
More
Yeah,
like
she
freeze
kind
training,
of
yeah.
like killed everyone by her own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she'll be back in some form.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this it's a good life. This one, the best.
Yeah. Just before he was died.
Just before he died.
dead.
Dead. Final words.
The final words. That was sad.
Yep.
Felix
so-
was his brother.
yeah.
Mm.
So he didn't want to save Logan Ash because he killed the brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logan Ash.
Mm.
Is this a serial? Have you
That was funny.
It's actually it's probably just the same death.
Well, he
Oh,
did say
what was
it
the
was-
line? Sorry, could you scroll?
The line is this best bigger or have
Oh.
you gotten smaller?
That's definitely James Bond kind of humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a taking off one. That's it's coming up.
Mm.
I'm not going to lose
No.
control, but he did.
And then
lose
she
control.
come and she appears and then
Yeah.
control.
Never really be in control being around Madeline.
Mm.
Until he was really in love with her.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's hard for him to
Oh.
even stay in control when he's in front of Blofeld. He always, because Blofeld always knows how to push his buttons.
And he did push his buttons.
Yes.
And that was
Yeah, he
what
really
they were
pushes
counting on
buttons.
Hmm.
Yeah.
for him to die in that
Mm.
way.
Yeah.
We both eradicate people to make the world a better place. Yeah.
I notice in James Bond movies, they always make the villain have really bad skin in the face.
The skin, yeah.
They always make him look gets more creepy. The
Mm.
villains.
Mm.
Someone actually
Like it's
thought he was Freddie Mercury or something, but
It is. It's
Pretty
Rami
much.
Malek who plays.
Rami
Rami
Malek.
Malek.
this is like
Oh, it's
if you
Rami Malek.
understand-
Yeah,
Resting
Yeah.
Rami
evil
Malek,
face,
yeah.
Rami Malek.
yeah.
I thought it was him. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot he
it's him.
played.
when
Freddie
I saw
Mercury.
his face
Yeah.
and the mask, it made me think of the Phantom of the Opera. Like
Ah,
if he
yeah,
were
yeah,
a
yeah.
villain,
Yeah.
a Bond villain.
Like a white mask.
Ah. Interesting.
And
Yeah.
the best quote is the last one.
James, yeah,
Bond, James Bond.
it's like a legacy.
But it's not
Story.
James saying it.
Yeah.
It's someone else saying it.
Mhm.
But it's
So
funny.
So
when
it,
James
so it
Bond
would be
showed up in
weird if
the,
James Bond
MI6,
returned and it's
so
not
he
Daniel
didn't
Craig.
recognize him.
Who?
Yeah.
Did you recognize who?
Well, he got his designated 007 back.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
But the
but
question is, did the
it
girl
back.
get hers back after Bond died?
yeah,
Probably
will it go
unanswered
back to her
question.
now that he's
Mm.
But probably not, because they're gonna cast someone else
they're
as Bond.
Yeah. I think she'll stay as like a 00 agent, but they will have another Bond.
But there's a running joke in the movie. You double O what? Double O what?
Yeah, she kept saying double what. If you want to know, she's been taken off 007 here.
Yeah, because
In the-
after he came back, he didn't seem to want the 007 number anymore.
Yeah.
So you could have the number back. It's just a number.
Overall, I
Alright,
think
alright.
it's a
Ratings?
it's a good one. It's a,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
thought it was
so.
pretty good.
a good one to end
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
overall, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I
Got a
thought
good
a bit
emotional
long,
ending.
but The first half
Yeah.
is slow.
The
It
start
didn't-
was
It was
cool.
long, but it didn't feel long to me, but because it was so good throughout the whole movie. So it didn't feel like
agreed.
it didn't feel like it drew out
Yeah.
too much.
Good pacing. Good pacing.
Yeah,
It's
there was
good
enough
pacing,
action
Yeah.
Tough
to
action, yeah.
keep you interested. Yeah.
Mm.
Time frames from jumping from one place to another would have taken a bunch of time, but I
But
guess
that always happens in movies.
that's always a movie oversight. So I didn't
Hmm.
really.
Every movie just has to do that at some point.
Mm.
But at least this one makes
uh,
it sort of believable that a ship will come to
Yeah.
pick James Bond up. They didn't really
Yeah.
say what time frame it is.
Mm.
The
Mm.
time jumps, which
The time
I
lapse.
disagree with, would be ones which Wonder Woman did,
Oh yeah. We all
Yeah, that
One
was
Woman
a
2,
little-
One Woman 84.
which those ones made absolutely no sense.
Yeah. It was
WW
really
84.
messy, I think.
Both
Yeah.
of them, Benny.
Okay. Especially the second one, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Especially the
To
second
present
one.
time.
It's more obvious in the second. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
more
so
obvious
obvious.
in the second one, but it's also kind of obvious in the first one.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one at least you could predict that there's probably some time in between each scene.
Mm.
Instead of just jumping, here we go, here we are. Like
Mm.
just a short time afterwards. How did they get there in that short amount of time?
Yeah.
Mm.
When the trip takes usually about 18 or so hours and they're practically there the next day.
Like,
That's the problem I find
flight.
with the Wonder Woman show. So
Mm.
this one at least
Yeah.
is a bit more believable with the time jumps.
Mm.
I didn't really disagree with a lot of time jumps in other movies, just mainly the ones in the Wonder Woman shows because those ones just make no sense.
All right, I think we should.
Well,
wrap
that's
it
my
up.
rant.
last
So,
word?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my rant.
That's your rant, but despite the
Any
rant, what
last
would you-
words
what would
you give it?
you,
about
what would you give
James
it?
Bond? Oh yeah, yep. Let's go to the ratings. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Yeah, James Bond, go first. James Bond, you go first.
James Bond. James
Um,
Chan goes first.
I give it. I give it an 8. I think. Yeah.
Give it 6 out of 10.
Six,
Oh,
eh?
okay. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I give it. I agree with Jeff. I would give it about a solid 8. It's just a
Mm.
Yeah.
really good
I
one.
think
yeah.
it's pretty good. Yeah. I would say 8 as well. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
good send off for Daniel Craig, I think.
Yeah, great send off.
Yeah,
And
I'd give it
I-
probably a 7,
Oh, that's high.
but
that's really high for
Which one?
the John meter.
yeah.
Yeah, that's high.
Yeah,
for
I-
you.
What do you
I,
get?
Bunny,
I was
Bunny.
thinking of giving it a 6, but because it's Daniel Craig's last offering,
Last outing.
I'm
Yeah,
giving it a
yeah.
seven.
And he also
He
good
sent
ending.
off.
Mm.
Send it off
Yeah.
in
It was a
good
good-
fashion.
It was a good
Uh,
send off, so yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Actually, surprisingly, like I reckon it's one of the best James Bond movies I've ever seen, and
Oh, wow. Okay.
probably the most emotional bits.
Most
and
emotional, I think, too. Yeah,
and,
I agree with
um,
that.
because of that, I'll give it 8 as well. So,
Mm.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Shamian.
Charmian, are you still there?
or some
Yeah, I'm
other
still here.
weirdo.
Okay. What's
I'm
your
here.
score?
What do you think? Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to not let the fact that I'm a huge James Bond fan
Oh, compared to others.
cloud
Yeah.
my judgment.
That's fine.
I like the nods to previous films, both within the Daniel Craig Chronicles and also outside of it.
Mm.
But I like that it's done something quite different.
Yeah,
It was
it's
sort of-
different to the other ones.
Yeah, like there's already that foreshadowing in Skyfall with the death of M, and now we see the death of two people. Like you see Felix, and you're thinking he can't go, and then at the very end, it's like, well, he has a choice to live, but then what will he be living for? Because the people nearest and dearest to him. Yeah, so I think that it's very, it's got a good enough coverage of old characters, whether we know them from the Daniel Craig, or actually all of them, even this lighter. I think this lighter's appeared in other Daniel Craig films, but I can't remember. But people like Moneypenny, this M, interesting to see the new 007. It's got a really good pace. Again, I agree with Bernie. I didn't notice the time go. Again, I think why I can never give films rated really highly is, clearly doesn't have anything deep to say about the human condition. Or
Well, this one has a little bit. It's about mortality, time,
Sacrifice.
all the time in the
Sacrifice.
world, no time at all.
Yeah,
And that
it
quote
doesn't
at the
compare
end.
to, unfortunately, it doesn't compare to something really great like Still Alice or Nomadland or something
Well, it's an action
completely
movie.
original like The Artist or. Yes,
Well,
I know. So
Effectively, it's not a Ghibli film.
it's got enough drama and character to keep it interesting. And for Daniel Craig,
enough
it's
twist
a
as well.
top-notch film. Yeah, I was a bit like Jono. I was going to go 6 or 7, but I'm going to go 7.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
No, that's high.
Now,
Yeah,
if
for me, that's high.
if I take a look
Yeah,
at Rotten Tomatoes, it's about 84.
Oh, that's
Oh, in 8. Okay.
that's
I'm
high.
not
That's
surprised.
And
Really?
audience is nearly 90.
I was about to say,
Wow,
if I
not that high.
didn't
Good.
put off my James Bond fangirl hat, I would definitely give it an 8, or I'd even give it a 9.
Wow. Okay.
I'd give it an 8 or 9 as a big James Bond fan. But if it was just a normal film that wanted to extract the maximum of human experience and empathy and engagement, it does so on that action level, but nothing too deeper than that. But yeah, as a
what
Bond
you're saying.
fangirl,
Yeah.
as a
I'm trying
Bond
to-
fangirl, I give it 8 or 9. But as
Okay. Yep.
taking off that hat, I'm giving it 7.
In a general point of view, yeah.
I think
so you try and give it an unbiased kind of review. Yeah.
But I think most people agree that it's a really good send-off here, more satisfying
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great
Mm,
way for Daniel Craig to do his last film.
To go out with
And-
a
Yeah.
bang.
And knowing that it's his last film, because I think with Dalton, who is actually my favorite Bond, but when Daniel Craig came in with Casino Royale, that really
yep.
changed things. So Daniel Craig became could be on par, but what I really liked about the grittiness of Timothy Dalton is that darkness is there, and he takes it from the actual novels. I don't know any other Bond who actually read the Ian Fleming novels and said, what is Ian Fleming's initial Bond really like, and taken that into the character. And Timothy Dalton's the only one who goes, this is a job. He's not faffing about. Women are just, they're not a side pursuit, unlike he's not there to make funny quips or weirdo funny lines. He's there to get the job done, even if he has to resign and, So I love that sort of principle.
He had that
moral
dedication.
focus.
Yeah.
And Daniel Craig's Bond actually has bits of that that I don't
That's
see
right.
in any other Bond as well,
Mm.
which is why I'm like, Daniel Craig is definitely a close second.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's really hard for me to give I so want to give Daniel Craig this one a 10, considering it's his last one. But generally, I don't think previous Bond actors had that luxury to go, this is your last one. And especially not with Timothy Dalton. He wasn't actually supposed to be Bond. It was supposed to be Pierce Brosnan. But because he was doing Remington Steele, and then so they couldn't get him on board. So then they found Timothy Dalton. And by the time they had locked him in for, I think he was supposed to actually do 4. Then there was like legal battles after the second one. By the time they resumed, okay, yeah, let's do another Bond. Timothy Dalton's like, yeah, I'm over it. I'm out now. Yes. And then they finally got the original Bond that they
got Pierce. Yeah.
Brosnan back in. Yeah, I don't know whether he was only in for 4 films, but he definitely did 4. And it's very interesting how there is actually, I think it's Thunderball or Never Say Never Again. They're the equivalent, but one of them isn't an official production. So that sort of put the spanner in the works in that whole Sean Connery, Roger Moore handover pity thing as well. But yeah, Roger Moore actually did 7 James Bond films.
Wow, 7.
He did a lot. Yeah, I remember he did a lot.
Yeah. So he's the Bond who did, he's the actor who did the most Bond films. So I don't know enough about the contracts and whether they knew which ones were their last films, but they had, I can't remember what was on TV, but it was pretty much like the making of Bond or something, and it followed Daniel Craig through his journey of being Bond, and they showed behind the scenes clips from this movie as well, and the fact that the last scene that they shot was one of the ones with Paloma in that earlier sequence, and the fact that everyone knew that this was Daniel Craig's last shot. It was a night shot, and the person doing the making of presentation actually said, oh, usually after a night shoot, everyone, disappears quickly, you want to go to bed. And he goes, but everyone hung around to chat, to say their goodbyes, because they knew it was such a poignant moment. And that same program went back to the clip where, how there's always speculation, is it his last Bond or not, like after Spectre? And there was no confirmation. And even he did say, yes, that was my last film. But I think that program sort of did reveal that he did feel like that Spectre was going to be his last one. But he revealed through that interview in that program, goes, but when Barbara Broccoli tells you you're doing another one, you're doing another one.
Yeah.
So it sort of felt like
she was told that it was the last one.
So I guess I think maybe the media sort of latched on his feeling correctly that that was his last one.
It seems like we're losing Marcus.
Maybe. Barbara Broccoli, no, you're coming back. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we should go close up.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up.
If you need to go, you can.
Yeah.
But it's also 1:30, so I think we should start.
Yeah. We should probably wrap it up.
We got
great review, great discussion, great review.
Yeah.
It's great. James Bond, one of the best James Bond out there.
Probably one of the best ones. And
I really enjoyed this one.
For me.
And we could tell that you're a huge fan of James Bond.
Yeah, Sharma, she's a big fan. It actually makes me want to watch the first 3 again. The first 3, Daniel Craig. I totally forgot about the first 2 or 3.
I don't blame you for forgetting about Quantum of Solace, because that was quite forgettable. But Casino Royale, Skyfall, and then the build up and the bring back of Ernst Blofeld in Spectre was fantastic.
I feel
bits of trivia about Daniel Craig being Bond through that doco. He actually did all his own stunts, and he's broken a leg.
Oh dear.
And so there were certain scenes in the last one, that the one where he's that opening sequence in the crowd, it was that that Mexican Death Day celebration-y thing. They had to change it to sort of work around his injury.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
there we go. Yeah. So now you know what did James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Right.
All right.
yeah, so you
Well,
guys
looking
tomorrow
forward-
for Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
What the
Looking
Shang-Chi.
forward to that. Yeah.
Yes.
It says it out on digital
Shang-Chi.
Blu-ray.
Has everyone
Yeah.
seen it, or is it some
Yeah.
people's first?
I haven't
I haven't seen
Seen
it.
it?
Yep.
I've seen it, but I can't wait to see it again though. And
Mm.
And
Right.
it's on
we're gonna watch
Blu-ray.
the
Oh, you've got the Blu-ray.
Yep,
Yeah.
the
Blu-ray.
steelbook. Yeah.
Steelbook Blu-ray.
And John is going to show us the intro, right? The backstory of the Mandarin, right before the movie.
I think you've got a 10-minute short.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Film.
10-minute
10-minute short
backstory of
film
Mandarin.
that explains a bit
That
of
gives you the
Tempest
context.
Ladder.
Mandarin.
Oh,
and a bit
really?
of context.
So I haven't
yeah.
seen that, so looking forward to watching that
Mm,
backstory of
Yeah.
Mandarin. Yeah,
yeah,
Not a-
that'd be really great to see first.
Or the
Yeah.
true Mandarin, anyway.
Yeah.
true.
Mm.
Back in 2016.
Mm,
I
So it
thought
was
it went way
planned, yeah.
back,
yeah.
back to
So I
Iron Man
think-
3. I thought it'd been like
So that'd be
earlier,
good to watch before we watch the film. Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
So they were already planning